Hi everyone, and you're with me, Sachitha, and I'll be taking you through how to make people stop scrolling on social media. So we'll basically touch base on mainly Facebook, Instagram, and a little bit on TikTok and Twitter as well. So we'll get right into things. So I'm first off gonna present all you with a question, and I want you all to send the answers in through Zoom on comments. So what makes you stop scrolling? So all of us are on social media all the time. We are all on our phones going through either Instagram or Facebook. So when you guys are doing this, what exactly makes you guys stop scrolling down, and what makes you stop on a certain post or a certain video? Send in your comments, send in your answers on the comments, so that I can have an understanding as to what exactly you guys are thinking of. All right, so we've gotten a few answers. Some have said food, pictures of food, pictures of images of nice landscapes. Okay, cool. So let's move on, and we'll look at what actually makes people stop scrolling. So it's the thumbnail and the caption that mainly makes a person stop scrolling down. When you're going down Facebook or either Instagram, both of these social media sites operate when somebody goes down through their news feeds, and then they get the information through that. There you see your viewers consume your content by seeing that on the news feed, which is completely different to either YouTube, where you have to go and search for a video, or either you get a notification when somebody's uploaded a new video. Whereas Facebook and Instagram is purely based on what you see on your news feed, and what that particular viewer of yours decides to stop and watch. So that's why I wanted to start with this, to be honest, because it doesn't matter how well our video is made, whether we've included drone shots to 3D animations to whatnot. If our thumbnail and our caption doesn't serve the purpose, it doesn't match up, then nobody will think about stopping and watching your particular video, because your thumbnail, which is what they see when they go down, and the caption you put is what gives them a better idea of what your video or your photo is, will be the only way this person understands about your content and decides whether or not I'm going to read more into this content, or I'm going to watch more of this content. So we'll move on to a few examples of thumbnails that are not that great. So if you look here, you can see that the thumbnail doesn't necessarily tell you what exactly the video is about. It's not that it's not very appealing to a viewer, and this doesn't help with promoting the content that you want to sort of take off, because this is about a travel video that is going all the way to Sitavakapura. So there's much better thumbnails that we can look at. And even if you look at the next slide, again you can see the play button is right in the middle, and it cuts off the entire text on that particular thumbnail. So these are things that you need to keep in mind when you're uploading a video, especially because once you put your thumbnail on your video, you need to keep in mind that there is a play button right in the middle, and that play button is going to cut off the middle bits of your text. So these are small things that we tend to miss out most of the time when we are doing content, but is very important, and which is why I wanted to stress on this fact at the beginning of my presentation itself, because all of us talk about content, content ideas, what content will stand out, doing video productions and all of that. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to your thumbnail and your caption. And if you've not fared on that end, your video won't do well on social media sites, especially Instagram or Facebook. So again, another unappealing thumbnail. So here you can see that again the thumbnail text is cut off, and the small different images they've put up are not very clearly visible. And when that happens, your user is merely looking at this from a mobile phone, and this will be seen in a very small manner when you look at it through your mobile, and it won't be appealing to your viewer or your follower. So this will affect in these people not clicking on that play button to actually watch your video. So they'll merely just scroll past your video because there's an infinite scroll. People can keep scrolling, and Facebook will give you show you more content. The more you keep scrolling, the more content will appear. So until your user or your follower comes down to wherever they feel like stopping scrolling, they will keep on doing that. So again, moving on to the next slide, again a similar scenario where there is so much text. If you look at the thumbnail on the right side, so much text that it's hard for you to even actually read the text that's on the image. So we can't actually figure out what this video is trying to tell us. And when you're scrolling down your Facebook page, Facebook newsfeed, not something that'll appeal to you, because yes, the message has to go through to the follower, but also your imagery and the styling of your imagery has to be appealing to a viewer's eye. It should be easily readable. The text shouldn't be something that you need to make an effort to read. When you see it, you should be able to easily grasp what's on that, rather than the follower having to sort of really look into it and really put an effort in reading it in order to grasp the information. So again, another thumbnail where there is a bunch of unwanted, unnecessary information, from the dates to the names of the writers, to some people's names. So these are all unnecessary things for a thumbnail, because the thumbnail is not the place for you to put your video credits. It's not a place for you to promote your production house or your company or your brand. The thumbnail is something that you use to merely get people to watch your video. So your video might have all sorts of information, whatever information you want to get through to the consumer or your followers, you include in your video. But your thumbnail does not convey any of those messages. It's purely to get your followers to watch your video. So that's what you got to keep in mind when you're making a thumbnail, or plus when you're putting a caption. So moving on to captions. So I've seen a lot of you nowadays have lengthy captions for your content. So for example, if you're uploading a video, let's say the latest news about the protest, and you go on for about 5-6 sentences or even 10 sentences about what actually is there in the video. Now, when somebody is scrolling down their social media, they see your thumbnail. Okay, you got a nice thumbnail which explains which exactly explains the meaning of what you're trying to convey. But then once that person looks at the thumbnail, they would want a little bit more information. Not too much, not to know the entirety of the video, because then there is no point in going to watch the video. They'll rather read the caption. So once somebody stops on your stops on your post after seeing your thumbnail, they will want a little glimpse into what the video or your post is about. So for that, we need to include a short yet descriptive caption. So this is a very important thing that we must keep in mind. Don't go to make your captions lengthy. Nobody's going to read it unless you're doing, for example, news content or say current affairs content. Then and you might be uploading a thumbnail, an infographic, for example, say. Then yes, you might need to include a lengthy caption in order to explain your infographic. So in those instances, yes, you must use a lengthy caption, however you see fit, in order to convey the information. But then, especially when it's a video, your video has all the information that you want to convey to the follower or your consumer, as I mentioned earlier. So the video is the full package, and your caption and thumbnail are just like the wrapping paper that comes with a present. So you got to make sure that you put nice wrapping paper that is appealing, so that whatever gift you're giving looks better. So same way here, you just need to make sure the caption isn't too long, a short, very short but descriptive, plus that the thumbnails, like you saw earlier, are simple, to the point, and appealing to your consumer, not too much text. Facebook back in the day had a text limit as well, especially on content that can be promoted, but now they've taken it off. But still, it's imperative that you don't make your thumbnail very congested, because it has to be, as I mentioned earlier, easy on the eye to read, easy to grasp, and easy to understand, and appealing. So I think that's the gist on thumbnails. So we'll go on to understanding the platforms a little bit, because I started with the thumbnailing and captioning process first off, so that all of y'all understand the importance of it, and all of y'all put in a lot of thought and effort into the thumbnailing and captioning process, because sometimes we would spend weeks on creating a video, and at the end of the day we will just spend maybe 15 minutes, half an hour on just making some sort of thumbnail, taking a screenshot from the video and just uploading it. Please don't do that, because your thumbnail is far more important than what's inside your video, because the thumbnail is the key for people to come and watch your video. So if you haven't given them the proper key, they won't come and watch your video. So make sure you think about the thumbnail when you're shooting the video itself, when you're doing the production itself. Think about what you're going to include for the thumbnail. If you would need to take some photos separately for it, do that. If you need some information separate for it, do that. Plan it out along with the video or the piece of content that you're planning out. This way you will be able to get more reach and more engagement on whatever content you have. So let's moving on to understanding the platforms. So I'll just give a brief on what exactly the three platforms, how they vary, and what sort of thing you use each platform for. So when you take Facebook, you have the static posts, and then you have Facebook Watch, where you have the videos. So Facebook currently recommends videos over 3 minutes to be uploaded, because they promise a better reach for videos over 3 to 4 minutes. But however, with regards to Sri Lanka, Facebook videos over 1 minute do reach very well. So when you take Facebook, any of your videos over 1 minute that are less than 10 minutes, I think should be good. And then you also have the Facebook Live option, where you can go live through Facebook, like how we've done so far on this live stream. And then you have the Facebook stories, similar to the Instagram stories that we are all well aware of. Then you have Instagram. So when it comes to Instagram, again, you have the static posts. Then Instagram has introduced a new feature called Reels, which is videos up to 90 seconds. So whatever your videos that are up to 90 seconds now will get uploaded on Reels. And then you have the IG stories and also the Instagram lives, which we are all very well aware of. And then when you take TikTok, you have videos ranging from 15 seconds to 3 minutes. So if you're a creator and you do long format videos, TikTok is the place for you to go and do short form videos. Then again, on TikTok also you have the TikTok lives. So this is just an overview of what the platforms are and what sort of content you can look at for these on these platforms. So just to look at Sri Lanka and the digital penetration in Sri Lanka right now, we have 11.3 million Sri Lankans who use the internet. So this is actually your target audience when it comes to social media. And then you have 61% of all of these users use the mobile to access the internet. So that's a lot of people that use the internet on their mobiles and not the PC. So if we go down to Facebook, you get 7 million Sri Lankans who are actively using Facebook, and out of that 99% use it on the mobile phone. So going back to what I spoke of earlier, when you're making your thumbnails, this is a factor that you must keep in mind, that something you upload, especially on Facebook, for a Sri Lankan audience, will be viewed through a mobile 99% of the time. So your user is going to see your content on a small screen like this. They're not going to see it on a big computer screen. So your thumbnail has to be viewable on a small screen. So you can't include extremely small things on it, because your users won't see it, because they're looking at it through a phone. And then if we look at the number of Instagram users, again, 1.6 million Instagram users. So that's 7 million Facebook users and 1.6 million Instagram users in Sri Lanka, who are your potential audience if you're a content creator catering to the local market. And then if we just touch base upon LinkedIn and Twitter, you have close to 300,000 Sri Lankans on Twitter, and close to 3.8 million Sri Lankans using LinkedIn. So again, that explains the sort of difference when it comes to the platforms. And if we just take, if we are to just get a general idea, mainly the Sri Lankan market, Facebook is mostly used by an older market, older crowd, whereas Instagram is used by mainly the millennials and the Gen Zs. And then you have the Twitter audience, which is an entirely different audience, a much spoken of audience, who have a much matured audience. So you need to understand the three different audiences when you're making content for these three platforms as well. So I'll just quickly run you by insights and how to learn with insights, because I see a lot of creators, they push out content, they make content, but they don't really go back maybe a month later and see what content of mine has actually performed well, what content of mine hasn't performed well. For example, you might have started doing videos in a different way, and maybe your audience doesn't read that as well as you do. So because of that, your views might have gotten low, or a new video series that you're starting up, that you just started up, might be actually getting more views. So the more views than your other content. So in that sense, you must go and try and understand the insights, so that you will get an insight as to which videos are actually working for me, which type of content of mine are people looking at. For example, if you're a say travel content creator, maybe like videos you do with travel tips are performing better than vlogs you do. So in that case, you need to go through your insights and understand, okay, travel tips are working for me better, then I should put more of my effort into doing travel tips content, because that's what's working for you. So if find what's working for you and capitalize on that, and how you can do that is through insights. So if we have a look at the YouTube Facebook insights, here you can get the demographics as to which people from which city are mostly watching your content, then the age and gender of the people watching your content, whether it's female, whether it's male, whether it's a person from Colombo, which country they're from, because these are very important when it comes to what content, when it comes to deciding your future content, because this gives you an idea as to what sort of a person is actually consuming your content, whether it's whether it's majority of or old males, or whether it's a majority of young females, whether they're from rural areas or whether they're from the towns. So all of this will give you an exact insight onto deciding your future content and who your actual audience is, because the more you know your audience better, the more you can actually give them content that they will appreciate, which will in turn give you more reach and more engagement. Then if you look at the other slide, you could see you could track your competition on Facebook itself. So you can just add all the pages that you feel are your competition, and you can compare yourself, compare your engagement, your page likes, how many posts you put up, and once you go inside, you can also understand. You can also see what your top posts are and what their posts are as well. So moving on to the next slide. So on Twitter, again, similarly, you can get a summary onto who your top followers are, your top tweets, people who've mentioned you, because that's something very important when it comes to Twitter. Mentions amplify your reach on Twitter rather than any other type of actions. So these are things that you must follow when it comes to Twitter insights. And looking at Instagram, again, similar to Facebook, you can identify the demographics of each of your audience or each of your followers. So the towns and cities, their age and gender, their locations. So all of this again trickles down to knowing who exactly your follower is, who exactly is watching you, so that you know who your audience is and what sort of videos you should create. For example, if you're a food content creator, and if your audience is mainly from the city, you're catering to SECA market, then from the ingredients you use to what sort of recipes you make, what sort of dishes you make, all will change as opposed to if your audience is say for example from a rural areas, say CCB or C, because the products that are available to them are different. So because of that, the food items that they'll be interested in will be different. So your content should align with their interests, not your interests. So for that, you need to understand your audience, what their interests are, so that you can cater directly to them and give them what they want. Because at the end of the day, whatever content you make is for your audience. So if your content isn't what interests them, they will slowly stop reacting and sharing your content, which in turn will result in a decline of your reach and engagement. So this is why insights is very important, that we go into understanding them, and we keep up with them, that we study them, and we utilize the learnings of these insights when planning the future content. So from there, I just wanted to touch base a little bit on security and support when it comes to Facebook and Instagram mainly, because lately we've seen a lot of instances where people's profiles have gotten hacked, people's pages have gotten hacked. They've not been able to recover them, or the hacker goes and deletes all your content, and you don't have it uploaded anywhere else. So you're pretty much end up in a very dire situation. So to mitigate this, a few things that you must do as a content creator specifically. Any social media user must use two-factor authentication, and I think that's one of the most basic, most simplest things when it comes to securing your account. Then each platform has its own security policies. Now, if you take Facebook, their security policies would drastically be different from Twitter's security policies. So it's our thing as creators to go and look into what each company's policies are, to make sure that we have aligned ourselves with their policies, so that in whatever instance when something goes wrong, you can easily reach out to them and get it sorted, because you have aligned yourself with them. Because otherwise it'll be more complicated for you to recover your account when you come across an issue like this. Then partners, platforms all have partnership programs now. TikTok has its own partnership program. YouTube has its own partnership program. Facebook again has its own. So look into these partnership programs that each of these platforms have, and see how you can partner with them. Some of them have representatives that will get in touch with you. Some of them don't. But you can partner as a creator with each of these platforms. So do that, because when you have partnered with them, you get extra recognition when it comes to security issues, especially because this is one main point that a lot of creators get stuck at, because when you're starting off your channel, it's not a very big channel. You just have a few followers. Nobody really wants to come and hack your account, so you also really don't care about security too much. You just go on creating content. But a few months down the line, your content is being viewed by so many people. You're a famous creator, and now you suddenly have so many followers. You're open to an attack, because anybody would want to take up your account and change the name and use it for themselves. So this is why partnering with platforms is very important. Then getting verified. So as an organization, getting verified is a little complicated if you're on a social media platform. But if you're an individual looking to verify your individual page, it's not that complicated. It's there is a very well explained process on the help pages of each relevant platform, where you simply have to follow each of these steps. Yes, it's not very straightforward, but it's not that complicated either. So you follow these steps, and you should be able to get your profile verified. And this again adds up to added security and convenience when convenience if you go through any security problems. So and also know beforehand what you're supposed to do if you're hacked. So go and read up on it. Go and check out what are the policies. Where should I report to if I'm hacked? How can I report it? Is there any representative I can speak to? So know all these things and keep it at the back of your head, because you never know when you'll get hacked. I don't know if I'll get hacked tomorrow, or in a few months, we can never say. So it's always better to be ready than to be sorry when it's done. So content development. I wanted to touch base on creating content based on the platform, because a lot of us, what we don't understand is we tend to make a video for YouTube, and then we upload it everywhere else, on all the other social media pages. We upload the same video on Instagram, we'll upload the same video on Facebook, and this doesn't lead to any good for you, any good for the creator, because simply because see, when each of these platforms are entirely different, as we spoke of earlier. If you take YouTube, you don't necessarily get a news feed similar to Facebook or Instagram. So you don't necessarily see your followers don't necessarily see the content you upload as a preview on YouTube. So you can't go and use that video that you've used for YouTube on Facebook, because the audience is different, the platform is different, the way the platform presents your video to the followers is different, and how your follower chooses to consume your content is again different. Because if you take Facebook, as I mentioned, 99% of all users in Sri Lanka watch it through the mobile. So you're essentially looking at a crowd that is mainly viewing your videos even on the go, on the move, because this is something that we must understand as a country. It's mainly people view your social media with the mass audience on their way to work in the morning, or on their way home from work in the evening. So we need to keep these aspects in mind when we are creating content. If you're making a video for YouTube, let's take one content piece, for example. You're making a video which is about 10-15 minutes long. You upload it on YouTube. Then you need to plan it out from the pre-production phase itself. When you're doing the video, this is my script for the YouTube video. Then you make a separate script which is about 3 to 4 minutes, which is going to be your video for Facebook. So it might have to have a completely different voiceover or an entirely different narration, but you must do that, because otherwise, because the main reason being, it's not the same people that's watching you on YouTube that are watching you on Facebook. So it's about catering to the audience that is watching you. Again, if you're uploading the same video to Instagram, then it has to be an entirely different video again, because it can be a maximum of 90 seconds, and you need to make sure that it appeals to your audience on Instagram, because your audience on Instagram is mainly there to see photos and videos, and they are not there to see content much, as opposed to if you take your YouTube audience. So you might want to do something more fun, short, and engaging for Instagram, as opposed to your more detailed, informative video that you will be pushing out on YouTube. And lastly, if we take TikTok, now it's become a great place for people to promote, especially other entertainment ventures such as songs or movies, or even TV series. So how you, again there again TikTok is an entirely different audience from all three other social media platforms that we spoke of as of now. So these different social media platforms each have different audiences, and in very drastically different audiences as well, because your user that will comes to watch you on YouTube will never come to watch you on TikTok, because we are looking at entirely two different market segments. Whereas TikTok is used mainly by the Gen Zs. It's a short, informal video platform where it's all about fun and excitement. Whereas, take example YouTube, it's a lot about information. It's a lot about edutainment, and so your audience will be different, and that's something you got to keep in mind when you're catering each of your content for these platforms. So just to show you how differently a few Sri Lankan as well as international markets are using Instagram. So use it for news, use it for news platforms now, and people use it on people use Instagram Reels even for current affairs videos. So these are all things that can be done. So why I wanted to show this is because sometimes you may think Instagram is something you could use on Instagram is something where people go to look at food and photos of photo. But again, here you can see even news platforms are using Instagram to push out news. So, and not just, and these doesn't necessarily have to be images. So short videos do a lot with when it comes to Instagram. So creating your content and catering it to each platform is again as important as the thumbnailing and captioning process. So that's why I kept this these two things for the first and the last. So I think the main takeaways from today's discussion would be how important your thumbnail is. I think I've stressed enough as to how important it is to make sure that your thumbnail is thumb stopping. So make sure, just every time you make a thumbnail, just ask yourself, if I see this while I'm scrolling down my Facebook, will I stop to watch it? Ask that question from yourself, and I think that'll give you the edge over the others when it comes to getting your content a good reach and a good engagement. So that's about all from my end. So we'll move on to questions, and we'll take you from there. All right. So we've gotten a few questions from the audience, and the first question would be, what's the first step of getting my account verified? So as I mentioned earlier, it's easier to get your profile verified if you're trying to get your personal page verified. So the first step in this process would be to go and verify your personal profile. So to do this, you have to upload your ID or your passport, and it'll take a few days, and they will verify your profile. And through this verification, through your profile, you can apply it for a page, personal page verification of yourself, and it shouldn't be that complicated thereafter. So first off, verify your profile, get your turn on two-factor authentication, and push out all the security measures on your personal profile. Then next question was how to monetize on Instagram. So right now, monetization is not available on Instagram as of yet, but it is available on Facebook now for Facebook Watch, as well as instant articles. However, it's not rolled out completely in Sri Lanka, but it should be available to some creators. And similarly to YouTube, Facebook will give you a revenue on your number of views, and on your instant articles, as well as your videos that are over 3 minutes. So this, if you haven't checked it out, do check it out for Facebook now, because you can apply for it and you can keep it on, so that once they roll out Facebook monetization completely, you'll be instantly eligible for it. What should I focus on more, Facebook or Instagram? As I mentioned earlier, Facebook and Instagram are two entirely different platforms, and your target audiences are entirely different. You have much more of a younger crowd going through your Instagram, and you have a more of a older and a mass audience on Facebook. You need to first figure out the objective of having a Facebook of your channel. So what exactly are you trying to push out through your channel? What sort of content are you doing, and what sort of audience are you trying to appeal to? Are you trying to appeal to a mass audience? Are you trying to appeal to a niche audience? Are you trying to appeal to a female audience? First of all, identify your audience, and thereafter you can identify what platform you should focus on more, and also where you can grow your brand more. Because if you are a YouTube creator, you're using both Facebook and Instagram to promote your YouTube content. So at the end of the day, what you're essentially doing through both these platforms will be promoting your content. So it's pretty much like advertising your YouTube videos here. So in that instance, both platforms would be important to you. But again, it'll come down to what sort of audience you're trying to engage with, and what sort of audience you're looking at getting you to follow you. So first figure out all of those, then you will automatically be able to understand which platforms you should give more focus to, and which platforms you can focus less on. And then we had one more question, two actually. Corporates hire social media teams but rarely give the team the freedom to try new things. Micromanaging is real. If you want to build a company brand online, how do you get about doing things and navigating dated mindsets? Yes, this is something that we actually come across on a daily basis with regards to big corporates in Sri Lanka. They have a lot of the decision makers are with dated mindsets, and they would not sometimes agree with your decisions to post something funky. But I think that's again completely up to you, and how you convince them and how you show them, look, this is what will work for you, and because you're the expert and that's why they hired you. So it's about you showing them, look, this is what's best for you and this is what will work. And again, something you can do with insights is you can push out the content they want. You can also push out the content that you're looking at pushing out, and you can show, look, this is what works for you and this is what doesn't work for you. So what should I go ahead with? I think I touched upon that hopefully enough. And in order to have a better idea and knowledge, is it good to follow some course or program related to content creation or digital marketing? If so, can you suggest some good programs that is recognized by digital marketing agencies? Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I haven't studied a professional course myself, but rather have first-hand experience with these platforms. So, but yes, now there are a certain digital marketing programs that are available. I think especially with the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. So you could look at some postgraduate programs that they have, which offer diplomas in digital marketing, which will obviously give you an extra edge. Plus also Facebook as well as Google, Google Digital Garage and Facebook both have their own programs now, which most of them are free. So you can go and take those programs. You can do them all online, and they're all free. And they will give you a good understanding and good knowledge as to the basic nitty-gritties of especially Google and Facebook and Instagram. And I think that's a great way for you to start off with, because all of these platforms are getting more complicated by the day, because they're adding more and more new features, and they're changing the existing features every day, and they're using their own they're studying their own courses. I think will do you a lot of good when it comes to digital media. So those are the questions that we've received. So I think that's all from my end for today. So I hope I've given you all some insight as to how you can make somebody stop scrolling on social media and get them to stop on your video or your post and not somebody else's. So I wish you all the best and good luck, guys. I'll see you soon.